5 incredibly creepy incidents that are totally real. Creepy stories are always a hit, unless you are the star of one. There are hundreds of internet discussions about ghost sightings. Sucked into a grave. The sun had pretty much determined to the 19th of December 2016 when 64-year-old Joanne Cullen showed up at the Long Island graveyard to visit her folks' internment plot. She recognized a mad bow on the wreath over the plot's tombstone and twisted around to fix it. As she did as such, the ground underneath her feet gave way and she sank into the grave right up to her hips. The sudden occasion made her lose her parity and skill, hitting her head on the gravestone and breaking a tooth. She grasped the sides of the headstone in urgency and yelled for help, however nobody heard her. After she at last figured out how to creep out of the grave, she quickly left the burial ground and wouldn't return. Cullen likewise enrolled the assistance of an attorney to sue the landowners of the burial ground, referring to enthusiastic issues and bad dreams originating from the horrendous occurrence. Trapped. Prior in 2019, a lady nodded off on the plane on the way to Toronto. At the point when she got up, the plane was vacant, dull, and it was nearly 12 p.m. Fortunately, she figured out how to open the plane entryway and was safeguarded by group on the ground. Another lady in Xi'an, China wound up caught in a lift toward the finish of January 2016 after repairmen shut it off and let it lay on the principal floor of the private structure she lived in. Tragically, the men just restored a month later and found the breaking down stays of the lady inside. Her hands distorted from attempting to get away from her steel jail. It is affirmed that the men never opened the lift to check for travelers. However, basically got out, and after accepting no answer, they shut the lift off and left to commend the Chinese New Year. The casualty is said to have been intellectually debilitated and was just recognized by her surname, Wu. Her family announced her vanishing, yet didn't attempt a quest for her inside or outside the structure. Healed by a ghost. Diane Berthelot endured a spell of ailment after a nerve bladder expulsion activity. She was wiped out for a while and on a ton of medicine. In spite of this, she verified that she would travel to Norfolk during the special seasons. During her time there in 1975, she went into the Worsted Town Church to plunk down for a peace and rest. While sitting on a seat, her better half and child strolled around the congregation taking photos of the inside. Diane, feeling exceptionally not well, bowed her head and appealed to God for recuperating. She unexpectedly felt a shivering sensation all over her body, just as a sentiment of ameliorating warmth. A half-year later, Diane was feeling large and in charge. Her better half chose to build up the photos they had taken on their excursion. And keeping in mind that glancing through them, the two of them heaved as one. On one of the photos, a lady wearing good old garments and a hood could be seen sitting straightforwardly behind Diane inside the Worsted Church. Diane promptly realized this lady had mended her. The couple came back to the congregation and demonstrated the image to the vicar, who revealed to them that he accepted the lady in the image was the white lady who was a healer several years prior. Legend says that a man moved inside the congregation tower on Christmas Eve 1830, yelling that he was not scared of the white lady and would kiss her on the off chance that she showed up. At the point when his companions came searching for him hours after the fact, he was sitting in a corner alone murmuring, "I've seen her," to himself. He passed on in a matter of seconds a while later. Bleeding walls. At the point when 77-year-old Minnie Winston rose up to escape the shower on the 8th of September 1987, she saw a pool of red fluid on the floor. She investigated and acknowledged it was blood. At the point when she checked out the restroom, she saw blood spilling out of the dividers and running over the floor into the adjoining corridor. Terrified that something may have happened to her significant other, she shouted to him. At the point when he appeared in the passage, he gave no indications of dying. Unnerved now, Minnie called the police. Officials scoured the couple's home, however discovered nothing that could have created that measure of blood. They took some of it to be tried and later closed it was human type O blood. Neither Minnie nor her significant other had this blood type. To date, the reason for the draining dividers remaining parts obscure. Real-life Pennywise. A not really joyful prankster has been terrifying individuals in the Ukraine since early December 2019. An individual spruced up as Pennywise from IT chose to hole up behind scaffolds and in garbage jars, springing up while clueless passers-by wander past. The jokester additionally claimed to pour gas over vehicles at a service station while individuals are inside paying. A few benefactors turned out to be startled to the point that they fled, deserting their vehicles. Recordings of these tricks have turned into a web sensation, yet in addition grabbed the eye of nearby law authorization. A criminal argument has been opened against Pennywise under Part 2 of Art. 300 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine, as it is presumed that the minds behind the jokester activity are attempting to advance violence. However, Pennywise is retaliating. He expressed via web-based networking media that since his tricks are not influencing youngsters or the old, he won't stop and that he has only begun.